Good morning. I am Reshma. Today I am here to explain the poem for the class BA B.Ed second year paper 2 unit 3. The name of the poem is Break 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 by Lord Alfred Tennyson. This is a poem written in the form of an elegy. Elegy is something which describes the feelings of loss. So, Alfred Tennyson had written this poem when he lost his very dear friend Arthur Helen. And so the poem expresses his feelings of isolation, loss, and the fleeting nature of life, which is deeply troubling. This poem consists of 4 stanzas in 4 lines each. There is an irregularity seen in the poem, which is conveyed in the form of instability of the sea or the broken edges of the speaker's grief. On the simple surface, when we see the poem, it is very simple and straightforward, and the feelings are very easy to understand. They express the sad thoughts and his memories and move towards the speak like the sea and the scenes which are seen around him. The speaker is in deeper interest of comparison between the external and the internal world. The outer world is where life happens or what is used to happen with the speaker, and the inner world is what preoccupies with him now, and the deep thoughts of pain and loss and memories of time with one who is gone now. Coming to the first stanza, the sea is battering, that is hitting hard the stones. The speaker appears frustrated that the sea can keep moving and making noise while he is unable to utter his thoughts. He says, I cannot explain or I cannot utter my thoughts again and again, whereas the waves in the sea keep on coming and going again and again, and the waves hit the same stones again and again. The sea's loud roar is able to vent its energy. Vent is to show or express its energy and shows something which is lacking. Here again, the repetition of the word break conveys the ceaseless motion of the waves, where each wave is reminding him of what he lacks. Now, the first para itself is showing the loss of the poem or the writer, which he says it cannot be fulfilled. In the second stanza, Tennyson similarly expresses again some distance between himself and the happy people playing or singing wherever they are. They possess joy and fulfillment whether together or alone, but he does not. He says he is sitting near the sea and he is seeing some people around who are happy. They are singing merrily. Whether they are alone or they are together, they all are full of joy and in a happy mood. But he is all alone. The brother and sister, they are all enjoying. The sailor, he is on his boat, and again he says, I am all alone. The brother and sister, they are playing together, they are enjoying, The sailor is in his boat, he is going for fishing. So the poet says they have a reason for a voice and they can make pleasure, but he does not have one. One might sense envy over here. Now again he himself says that maybe the readers or maybe you may feel that I may say that I am feeling envied over here, that this brother and sister are enjoying or the sailor is enjoying but I am not enjoying, or I am feeling envied with their joyous or fulfilled nature. But again he says, oh well, it is all something when you lose young people who is yet to come, or you are waiting for them to come. Now similarly, again in the third stanza, he says that there are stately ships moving to their haven under the hill, that is either to port or over the horizon. Stately ships means those ships which are just waiting. They are going to go to the port or they are going towards their horizon. Either way, they may seem content with a destination. It is, they are going to have a destination. So if the ship is going to the port, that is, it has completed its journey and it is going for a rest to the port. Or if the ship is moving towards its horizon, he says again the ship is going towards its next destination. So they are going to be content, they are going to be satisfied. But the mounded grave is no pleasant, and again it is having a contrast. Now here again he is talking about the grave, and the grave is not at all pleasant, and again it is a contrast. That end means the end of activity. Now here that end is the grave, which means the end of activity. There is no more hand to touch, no more voice to hear. It is when somebody goes in a grave, there is no one to touch, there is no voice to hear. Again the speaker is caught in his internal thoughts. He says, I try to come out of my memories. I am looking at the ships, but again I get caught inside my internal memories. They are all overshadowing what the speaker sees around him. Now here the stateliness of the ships contrasts with the speaker's emotional imbalance. The ships are moving forward to a goal, while the poet is looking back to the vanished end. That is, he is not trying to move forward. It is, death is a truthful fact of life. One who is born has to die, and the poet has lost his dear friend, so he has to come out of his grief. This is what the critic H. Soffer has tried to contrast in this stanza. He says the ships are moving forward, but the poet is not at all trying to come out of his emotional imbalance. And he says the voice is lying there still. Next, in the last stanza, again the speaker is coming out of the memories with the breaking waves of the waters on the crazy cliffs. The waves are hitting the cliffs. The waves come again and again, hitting the walls of the rocks each time. Again he says, but for him there is no return of the dead. Once the person is dead, they cannot come back. There is no return for the death. It is just a recurring pain of loss. Now why? Why speak? Why act? Again, Soffer explains the poet's realization of fruitfulness of action, which draws the reader's attention and says that it is a scene which evokes a sense of inevitability and hopelessness. So this is all about the poem Break, Break, Break. The explanation of the 4 stanzas. We shall do the theme and the main few points of discussion in our next video. Thank you.